Good morning, traders. Welcome to Trading Together. I'm Mel Gacee. Thank you so much for being here this morning. Happy New Year, everybody. I hope that every one of you had a joyful, prosperous, successful New Year. I'm hoping that for all of us, that we have a really beautiful year coming up, and I believe that we will. And one of the ways that I want to make sure 2026 is prosperous for all of you is through this stream and through live trading. So thank you for joining. I'm going to take live trades today, hopefully, if we get the right setups. And we're going to do some market analysis and talk about what the market is doing today. So if you're here, drop your name in the chat. I would love to meet you, get to know you, and would love to just answer any questions or comments you might have. All right, let's go ahead and head over to our charts here. And I've been watching MSTR closely. And I do have a spread on MSTR right now that I'm just about to close. All right, so hopefully that should be closed. All right, and I'm just managing this trade here. Give me just a moment while I take care of this. All right, we're going to go ahead and open a 152.5 put. And we're going to buy the 150 put. I'm putting a spread on for MSTR right now, a credit put spread. 301. Right. And then our 155. And I'm closing an old one. So we're buying our 155 at 62 cents. And we're selling our 150 at 9 cents. All right, that should do it. All right, thanks for your patience. All right, let's analyze these charts now. Look at strategy getting a nice boost today, and that's because Bitcoin is up nicely as well. So yeah, thank you for being patient with me. I had to manage that trade. I do have followers that I send alerts to, and I had to get that alert out before it's too late. So thanks for being patient. Okay, so looking at the charts today, we can see that we've had a little bit of an up and down. Now, strategy itself, I'm just pointing that out right now because this is the current trade that I just put on, is really getting a nice boost today. It's up almost 4%, up to 157. And that's because Strategy is basically a holding company, a treasury, we would call it a treasury holding company for Bitcoin. So Strategy's whole strategy is to be a treasury company for Bitcoin. They hold Bitcoin, tons of it. I think they're the fifth largest single holder of Bitcoin. So they have a ton of it. And their whole strategy is to hold that and to let the Bitcoin grow in value. So, but however, as Bitcoin hit that strong correction that we just went through, MSTR Strategy really dumped with it. I think that we've seen a bottom. That's my thought. It doesn't have to be, but that's my thought. And so I'm trading some credit put spreads on MSTR, and I'll show you the chart. It just really beaten down, really beaten down. And there we go. So this is our daily chart on MSTR. Look at that. What a dumpster fire right there. That is a dumpster fire. It has been dropping consistently since it hit a high in July of $457 a share, and it's currently trading at its lowest, 149. Now it's jumped up from there. We're trading at 158 right now, but holy tamale, that has been a dumpster fire. So I do think if we zoom in a little bit, I do think we are going to see a bottom here start to form on Strategy. Let me zoom in some more so we can see that better. However, we do have some risk for MicroStrategy, and this is the risk. MSCI, Morgan Stanley Capital, is threatening to delist MSTR. And if that happens, they're going to be kicked out of some of the ETFs. What happens there is that we'll see a lot of outflows. That could be the nail in the coffin for MSTR. So that decision gets made coming up here in about a week and a half or 2 weeks. So that's the big concern for MSTR. But Michael Saylor, the CEO, and I think he's the founder, he's doubling down. He continues to buy Bitcoin. He continues to diamond hand hold this company. So I have a lot of faith in Michael Saylor and his ability to lead. The question is, what is going to happen when January 15 comes around? So something to watch, something to be aware of. But let's get to the real meat of the show, and that's going to be the SPY today. I've traded the SPY several times already this morning. I'm up nicely in my account. Very pleased with the movements today. Here's our daily chart on SPY. We have just right this minute, actually, filled this gap. So let me zoom out so you can see what I'm talking about. We are sitting at 680 right now. That is dropping hard. We had a nice push up overnight, and we opened with a nice gap up, and not immediately, but pretty soon after the open, we began to drop. I'll show you that on a minute chart in just a minute, but right now, the daily chart is what I want you to see, because here is what I was saying earlier today to my followers. I have another stream that I do. This gap right here is where I had my eyes on. This is the target for this drop, is the very first target. Doesn't mean it has to end here, but this is the target for this first drop, and that is to fill this gap. So this gap was formed when we closed on 12/19 and opened again on 12/22. So that was a Friday to Monday gap. We closed here and we opened here on Monday, closed here on Friday, opened here on Monday. This air right in here is called the gap. This is a magnet for price. Gaps do fill. They don't have to fill quickly. It can take days, weeks, months, even years for gaps to fill. But usually a nearby gap is a magnet in price, and it will fill. So this is what happened today. This candle right here, do you see this long wick? Remember that the body of the candle is composed of the open and the close. The wick is composed of the high and the low. So this low wick right here came down. I'm going to put my cursor right at the wick, and you can see that it comes inside the body of this candle. That closes the gap. Now, I like to see the whole body of the candle close the gap. This to me is like a pseudo close. I want to see the whole body come down. That means we have to close here for today to close this gap. Otherwise, it's just a wick gap fill. And that's not enough for me. I want to see the body close the gap. But we'll see if that happens. Right now, let's go to the minute chart. That's our target though, right here. This close at 680. And we hit that and we bounced from it. So let's take a look at the minute chart and let's see what kind of trades might be setting up for us. Getting a little push up here through the overnight low. I would consider calls here. I'm going to load calls. Now remember, when I trade, I'm looking at today's expiration and I'm looking at the current at the money prices. So currently at the money, calls are at the 682 strike. So I'm going to load what I call load. I'm going to set up a buy order for 682 calls, but I'm not going to get in yet. I will use the code word punch it when I choose to get into this trade so that you know if you're following me. All right. So right now, I like calls here. I'm just going to watch for some confirmation. We've got a rollover on the MACD, which I like. We've got the moving averages on top of each other, moving up over each other, which I like. What we don't have is a move above the VWAP. This is the VWAP here, the volume weighted average price. But that's sitting at 683. If we wait for a cross of the VWAP, we will probably miss any up move. Now, do we even know that there's an up move here? We don't know that yet. What we did is we just reached over this overnight low and yesterday's low of day. We just reached over it and now we're back down to it. This is an area of interest for the price. So right now you could see it came and dipped below it and then tried to recover it. So let's see if we recover. If we get a strong push here, I might go ahead and try some calls. The volume is picking up. We're just at our flat line, meaning we're sitting right where we closed yesterday. Very, very close to it. I'm just watching how we behave at this flat line. See how we're just barely negative 2 points? I'm watching to see if we get a rejection at the flat line, which looks like we could be getting a rejection, and how we respond here to this overnight low. That's the decision that price is making right now. We are currently sitting in negative gamma, meaning that the markets are hedging toward the negative side, the downside. Markets are hedging to the downside right now. Put wall sitting at 684 and the next level sitting at 681. So that makes sense. We are currently sitting right at 681. And our VIX is just kind of hovering at its highs. I'll show you what I mean. Let me zoom out a little. All right, so you can see the VIX. Now remember, the VIX is the volatility index. It runs inverse to the market. When VIX is up, market's down. When VIX is down, market's up. So think of it as an X, right? VIX up, market down. Right now, VIX is currently up. We're up about a 1.74% on the day. And we're just we made a high at 15.4. And we're just kind of hovering, as you can see right here, kind of in this sideways zone, not too far off of the highs. So we're not dropping yet. And I'll zoom in so we can see that. But I do keep my eye on the VIX minute by minute just to see what kind of movements we're getting. Right now, it's a little bit down and sideways. So we've not been able to hold this overnight low to the upside. So that's discouraging me from any calls right now. Not going to take that call yet until we can recover this overnight low and this low of day from yesterday. There's two lines here. They're right on top of each other. Hard to see, but that's because that's what happened overnight. This yellow line is the overnight low. This blue line is the low of day from not yesterday, but the day before, because yesterday we were closed for New Year's. So we've got these two lines basically sitting on top of each other, and the market is just kind of hovering here. We need to see if we get a bigger drop or if we recover this low and move back up. That's the big question. So I'm not going to take any trades right now until one of these two things happens. Either we come down and break this low, or we come up and beat this overnight low, this line right here, but we need to beat it decisively. This right here, just one little candle over that line is not enough confirmation to say that we're going long. And that's exactly why I did not take the call. We need more confirmation. So here we go. Here's another attempt at it. Let's see if we can push through. And if you all have comments or questions, this stream is meant to be for traders of all levels, but I especially want to help people that are just getting started. So if you have newbie questions, don't be embarrassed to ask those. Drop them in the chat. I want to help newer traders understand what's happening here. And sometimes I talk at a different level, and maybe that's not working. So you need to ask me if things aren't clear, and I would love to help you through any questions or comments you might have. Joy is here. Good morning, Joy, and Happy New Year to you. Happy New Year. It's going to be a great 2026, guys. It's going to be a great year. I've already had such a great day today. All right. Nice push. I like this. Here we go. This is more decisiveness. What we'd like to see is a little bit more volume. This bar right here is our volume bar. I'd like to see that pop up a little bit. Is gamma zero good? It's gamma zero. It's a balance, right? So net, I think you're talking about net gamma. Dealers will hedge on both sides of the fence, right? They're going to hedge on the call side. They're going to hedge on the put side. If we're balanced, that's not a bad thing. But it's hard to define what the movement is if we're sitting at kind of a zero net gex. But when we see like, hedging up here at a call wall and hedging down here at a put wall, that can help us define a little bit what the support and resistance and support are. So it's not necessarily good or bad. It's more about defining what directions we're going, where are dealers really hedging, and where are we pushing price to. The GEX tells us that. The GEX tries to tell us where we're pushing toward on the upside with the call wall, where we're pushing toward on the downside with the put wall. When net GEX is negative, obviously we're pushing more to the downside. And when net gex is negative, we run a higher risk of quick, fast drops. When net gex is positive, we generally stay pretty stable. We kind of push up toward a call wall and we sort of, slowly move there or move sideways. And that's when we get those slower moving markets. The faster moving markets are when we get the net gex negative and we start seeing drops, which is what we've done today. We've seen a lot of drops. So I can't say that it's good or bad. And here's the thing, another thing, Joy, is that we make money going both ways. I've made a ton of money on this put. I made a really nice trade on this put. And I've also made money today on calls. So the beauty of it for me is I always say trade like water, right? I'm a scalper, so I have a different strategy than other traders. My strategy is in, grab the profit, out quickly. I'm not trying to stay in long. I want quick, fast profits. So the idea for me is I want to know what the big picture is, where I think we're going big picture, but that does not matter quite as much as what is the chart telling me today? And we trade like water, like a river, right? We're going to go around the boulders and the rocks, and we're going to take the path of least resistance. And that it means basically trade what's in front of you, trade what the chart is showing you. And right now the chart is showing us negative. We're down. So right now we have negative bias in the market, selling pressure, and we have to pay attention to that. So anytime we, like, for example, I'm saying I'm interested in calls here, and I am, because we're beating this overnight low. But I always keep in mind we're at higher risk when we trade counter to the trend. And right now the trend is down. So we've kind of got this up, lower low, up, lower low. We've got a little up here. Are we making a lower low? It's very possible. So that's why I'm ultra cautious on taking any call trades at this moment, because we are in a negative downward trend right now. Okay. So yeah, thanks for your question, Joy. That was a great question and I appreciate it. All right. So we're still holding our bottom here. We don't have call signals just yet, although it's getting a little better. This little hold here is good. We want to see this line hold if we're going to continue to move up. VIX is giving us a little bit of a downward move. That's also good, giving us a little bit more courage for an upward move. Right now, right at this moment, what we need to beat is this 50 period moving average right here, this royal blue. You can see it's hit it, rejected, hit it, rejected, hit it, rejected. We need to beat this 50 and continue upwards. We've got a little top building right here at 682.2 on the SPY. So no call signals right now, no put signals right now. Not at the moment. Oh, and there goes MSTR up to 159. Holy tamale. That was a good trade. That was a good trade. All right, there we go. A little break of the 50. We are looking at descending volume. That always has to be considered. So right here, we hit this little bottom right in here. And then we started making a tiny little move up. But look at what volume is doing. It's decreasing while price is very slowly increasing. That's suspicious. So we have to watch out. VIX still giving us a bit of a drop. I'm still really strongly considering these calls here. Would like to see a nice volume pump. That would give me the extra confirmation that I'm needing. I'm going to let my puppy in. I'll be right back. It's getting a little cold out there for her. She's little. She can't hold her bladder as long as I would like when I'm on my stream. All right. Yeah, no climb yet. So that's sometimes this volume gives us that little signal that we're looking for. Joy, thank you. All right, no true break of the 50 yet, no true climb yet. And again, sometimes it's that little volume that gives us the warning signal, right? Not quite telling us that we're ready to pump yet. We'd want to see volume give us a nice one of these bars, right? One of these maybe. Here's a little climb on the volume. We like that. There we go. That's nice. We're right back here at overnight low again. That's this yellow / blue line. Overnight low is yellow. Low of day is blue. Like I said, they're just on top of each other. But we're holding, and that's bullish. Even though we've had a nasty drop this morning, holding this level is bullish. So if we can hold it and get this volume to keep climbing, we might consider this call here. And I am looking at right now, the 682 calls is what I'm looking at. I'm not in them yet. I'm waiting for confirmation. We just haven't beaten this overhead 50 mark. This right here, the 50 period moving average just has not come through it. However, we're not dropping below the overnight low yet, right? So we're in this teeny little squeeze range. This is a teeny squeeze range. Yeah, just tiny little moves right now. We don't want to get sucked into a trade until we see real confirmation. And right now, we just don't have it. Bitcoin really charging up nicely today, 91K. I love it. Very nice. All right, so we took a little dip right below the overnight low, came right back over it. So we're still doing nothing but sideways motion. One more shot at this 50. Let's see if we can beat it this time. Let's see if the volume picks up. We've got the MACD brightening up a little bit here, right there. See that? We're picking up a little bit there. There we go. There's a nice little pop. Good. All right, I'm going to go ahead and take this call here. Punch it, I'm in. And we're just battling our flat line here, so we could come back down. But let's see if we can continue this nice little climb. That would be great. Nope, there's a drop right there. We'll give it a minute. We do have some volume overhead, so let's see if we can get a nice little push here. There we go. That's what we're looking for. That's great. Almost green on our trade. Nice little push. Keep going. Here we go. There we go. Nope. See how fast these trades move. It's insane. Right back down under the flat line, under the 50. So they're still kind of playing with this range. Looking a little roundy to me. I don't like it. Let's get another little bounce here. Little bit of a volume increase on that bar. Let's see if they push. As long as they don't break this overnight low, I'll stay in. If it drops down hard, I'll have to jump out. You're getting a MACD rollover, which I don't like. Still holding for now. Well, it looks weak though, I'll say that. This price action looks weak for the upside. VIX giving us a tiny little red bar. We like that. All right, break of the overnight low right here. I'll be keeping my eye on that. Just a little recovery. Still trying to hold, so that's good. Little bounce here, that's helpful. And we've been fighting this line for quite some time. If we zoom out, you can see what I'm talking about. So you can see we came down to it earlier this morning, 10:25 Eastern, gave it a nice bounce, came back down, but we broke through and made a new low of day all the way down here to SPY 680, came back up through, under, over, under, over. We're under right this minute. So we've been really trying to hold this line all day. If the bulls lose this line, we could drop harder. So if they hold it, we should get a nice bump. Not looking good with this drop through the line here. Where I have my cursor is where we made the bottom earlier, right here, and that's right where we're sitting. A little bit of a volume pickup here. Let's see if we can get up there and recover that line. That's what needs to happen. All right, so we're breaking this current bottom, getting close to our stop out point. All right, little bump there. That's helpful. Got to recover that overnight low. And Bitmine going crazy today, up 11%. Very nice. Our MACD is kind of, it's deciding right now, actually. It's kind of toggling between shortening up here or getting longer, depending on this candle here. Definite weakness here. We're just moving ever so slowly downward. There we go. That's a little bit of a turn here. Let's see if that follows through. All right, I'm going to go ahead and pull the plug on this one. That's 54% on the negative. That's okay. 50 is usually my stop. I think we're going to bounce here at this bottom, honestly, but we got to honor our stops, and that's okay. I don't want to get into a put just yet because I want to see how we respond here at this bottom. It's actually made a new low of day right now. And the VIX still giving us a little pop here. So it's really important to follow stop losses, and that's no fun. Nobody ever likes it, but that is really, really important. I'm still green for the day, up for the day, and I'm fine with taking stops. It's really important to do that. If you hold on to a losing trade and you hold it for 100% loss, that is the fastest way to blow up your account. So we don't ever want to do that. All right, let's see if we get a bounce here. So far we're okay. Let's see if we get more selling pressure. So, and let's talk through that trade. So the confirmation I was waiting for was a break of this 50, which we got right there on this candle on the volume picking up a little, which it was, and on the MACD brightening a little, which it was. So those are all good entries. The entry was fine. It's just, it was a counter trend, just like we were saying earlier, it was a counter trend trade. And those are always more risky. You have to be careful with those. But as long as you keep your stop losses, you'll be okay. You'll still be profitable. That's the main idea. So we took this right in here at this break of the 50. And I think I saw like 2% on this high candle, 2% green. I could have just taken the 2% there and jumped out, especially since it was a counter trend trade. So, but 2%, I mean, you barely cover the commissions, right? But it was a counter trend trade. So that is something that maybe, considers taking that tiny, tiny win and waiting for another setup. So right now we are trying to hold this here. Let's see if we can do it. So again, when I trade live in front of you, you're going to see the good, the bad, and the ugly. And sometimes we take those stops, and it's really, really necessary. My win rate usually runs about 90%. So I win about 9 out of every 10 trades, but I got to take those stops. And the stops are big, right? So my strategy involves small, short wins and up to a 50% loss. So that still allows me to be profitable. And so the idea is, I've got to take those quick, short wins and I've got to be consistent with those. So the stops, what I'm trying to say is don't be afraid of the stops. That is the number one thing that you have to have as a trader, is the ability to stop out when you're wrong. What a great trader, I don't know who it was, said, it's okay to be wrong. It's not okay to stay wrong, right? So we had a good entry. It was wrong. The trade was wrong. The market is always right. The trade was wrong. So we had a good entry. We took it, didn't play out. That's okay. Like I said, 1 out of 10 of those are not going to play out, but the math will work in your favor if you have the win rate and you're following your stops. So don't be afraid of those, guys. Don't be afraid. Like I said, I'm still green for today, even with that loss. So that doesn't bother me. And I'll make more trades today. We'll be fine. All right, it's trying to hold here. We haven't quite bounced though. Our MACD is getting where it wants to roll again. It's when it starts shortening like this. So let me explain the MACD for a minute for those of you who don't follow it. The MACD has a couple of parts to it. It has the zero line, that's this magenta, that's the zero line. When these MACD is the moving average convergence divergence. And when these two lines cross, that is when the histogram changes color. The histogram is comprised of these bars right here. When these two lines cross over each other, the histogram changes color. So right here at this cross, the MACD goes red. Back here at this cross, the MACD went green, okay? When it's in the histogram measures basically the strength of the move. So the color of the histogram is going to measure the direction, and the length of the bars is going to measure the strength. So when we cross, we're bright red. These bars are growing because we're gaining momentum to the downside. When the bars start shortening up like this and getting darker and shorter, it's telling you the move could be drying up. We could be losing momentum. And the closer these bars get to the zero line, the closer we are to rolling back up to the positive side. So here we go with another push up. These lines are fixing to cross. So let's see if we push up. All right, there's our first little hint of green on the MACD. Could we consider another call here? Yes, we could. Again, it's counter to the trend, so it is riskier, but we could consider it. Volume is picking up a bit. I'm going to go ahead and load up some calls. I'm not getting in just yet. I'm going to look at the 681s. I'm not in it yet. So no signal yet to get in. We had a nice kind of green bar and a nice little volume spike, but that's not enough. We do have the MACD green. Where did our VIX go? All right, little downward push on the VIX. No, not yet. No trade yet. Yeah, just no strength in the upward move yet. No signs of reversal on the horizon, not just yet. And if we come back down and start moving these averages back down again, we could consider puts here. We do have a low of day, so we have to be aware of that. Sometimes those lows get defended. But we're still sitting in negative GEX, and that's something that I'm aware of right now. Super slow motion right now, but like I said, if we start resetting this moving average to the downside, we could consider puts here. No? Okay. There we go. Here we go. There's a little bit of life there. MACD's brightening up. It almost wants to come and recapture this overnight low. Let's see if we can do that. Now we're back up to the 50 here. This is where we keep losing it. We keep losing the 50 here. Even up here, we lost it. We had it, we lost it. We touched it, we had it, we lost it. So now we're back to the 50, and the 50 just keeps moving down. So no, rejected that 50. So no call trade yet. Just can't seem to break that 50 there. And even though we're negative today, we really haven't sold off in a hard way. We're down about 14 points, which is not horrible. It's not a super hard sell. I mean, we certainly have dropped all day, but we had a nice gap up. So it ate through that whole gap up and has pushed down farther, but it hasn't gone super far yet either. So that's something to be aware of. The selling pressure doesn't seem heavy, at least not now. That doesn't mean it can't. It can certainly pick up, but right now I don't see heavy selling pressure. Nvidia is still up 1.5%. Broadcom just 0.5%. Some of the other mega tech stocks are down a bit. Google is down 0.5%. Apple 8.8%. Tesla 1.7. Meta 1.8. Amazon 2. Microsoft 2. So that's significant, and that is why we're getting pulled down. We don't have enough of the Mag 7 participating to pull us up. That doesn't mean they can't turn and pull up, but right now it's heavier, it's skewed heavier to the downside for the mega tech stocks. And as I've said many times, as the mega tech stocks go, so goes the S&P, so goes the Nasdaq. So right now there are not enough participating to pull us up. That's why we're sinking today. But we're back up to decision time again. Let's see what we do here at the 50. All right. So we're I've actually come a little bit longer past the end of the stream because I started a few minutes late. But what I wanted to say was moving forward today, I'm still open to taking calls as if we continue this move upward. You guys know where the levels are. I'm looking to come up through the 50, and then I'm looking to regain this overnight low. If that happens, I feel good about a potential push higher. However, the bias of the day so far is negative. So be aware of that. We are negative. So watch out. And by and large, it's best to trade with the trend. So if this turns and comes down, I'm certainly open to puts. If this moving average direction changes and we start coming down for another leg lower, I'm very open to puts as well. Anything could happen. Remember, as of right now, the gamma is skewed negative, meaning, we may not go too far unless the gamma starts switching up a bit. But that is what I have for you today. Bummer, we took a losing trade, but it's okay. Honestly, it's okay. We make up for those really quickly, and you will stay profitable if you keep your stops. But Happy New Year once again to everybody. We'll be back again tomorrow at 9 a.m. Mountain. Appreciate you being here. Bye for now.